After 3 rounds of IVF, funded by our entire family, my parents were overjoyed when I finally got pregnant. They cooked a roasting chicken soup for me, something they usually couldn't afford. My husband, David Miller, was incredibly attentive, telling me not to move around too much. I couldn't bear to see him working so hard, so I secretly picked up extra shifts to make ends meet. But then, I unexpectedly saw Ashley Carter at a high-end restaurant. My parents, who were supposed to be working as sanitation workers, were dressed impeccably. David expertly picked up a piece of lobster and placed it in Ashley's bowl. Ashley, Jane Smith, is already 5 months pregnant. In a few months, our child will be born. Ashley's dad pushed the keys to a luxury SUV in front of her, and Ashley's mom placed a diamond necklace around her neck. Happy birthday, sweetheart. You worked so hard with the egg retrieval recently. You're infertile, so we had to ask Jane Smith to marry David so we could have a grandchild. Once the baby is born, our family will be complete. Ashley raised her head proudly, like an elegant princess. Mom, Dad, how can you allow a bastard of a nanny to have the Carter family name? You've already treated that fake far too well. David scoffed. Ashley's right. If she wasn't carrying Ashley's baby, I wouldn't even look at her. The custom-made cake in my hands felt incredibly heavy, and my heart sank. So, it was all a lie. My parents' love was a lie, my husband was a lie. Even I was a lie. 01 Ashley, I've already drafted the divorce papers. Once we get the child, I'll find some excuse to get rid of her, David said softly, but his words made my body stiffen. I'll prepare the lavish, celebrity-style wedding you've always wanted. Ashley, you'll be my most beautiful bride. In the dead of winter, my hands were frozen red. But the cold in my body was nothing compared to the chill in my heart. I touched my swollen belly, staring blankly at the familiar yet familiar family, frozen in place. Hey, cake delivery girl, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and come in. How stupid. Ashley's sharp voice interrupted my chaotic thoughts, and I quickly lowered my head, hiding half my face behind a mask. Hello, this is Ms. Carter's cake. Please sign here. Ashley's dad, usually so kind, frowned and waved me away like trash. Hurry up and leave. You're all dirty. Don't ruin my darling's cake. Sweetheart, this is your favorite bakery's cake. Let's cut it. Ashley's mom didn't even glance at me, happily taking the cake and placing it in front of Ashley. The words "Happy birthday, sweetheart," "Love, Mom, Dad," which I had written myself on the card, stabbed at my heart. So, this rush order custom-made cake was for their biological daughter. But the day before yesterday, on my birthday, David had said he had to work overtime to earn money for the baby and didn't come home. My parents had only brought a smashed slice of cake, but I still felt happy, silently eating all the stale cake. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Brilliant confetti cannons exploded. My eyes were red as I watched my beloved family celebrate Ashley's birthday, wanting to question them desperately. But then I saw my clothes, soaked with rain and snow, in the mirror. Compared to Ashley in her gorgeous dress, I was nothing but mud. In an instant, it felt like all my courage had been sucked away, and I fled in a panic. Wait. Ashley smirked, holding a slice of cake as she walked towards me. Sister, I see you're pregnant and it's not easy for you. This piece of cake is for you. David smiled. Our Ashley truly has a heart of gold. Turning to look at me, his tone instantly turned cold. Hurry up and take it. Don't be ungrateful. I trembled as I raised my eyes. Ashley looked down at me, a flash of malice in her eyes. Did she recognize me? Mechanically thanking her as I took the cake, but before my hand could touch hers, Ashley cried out in surprise and fell backward. My mind went blank. Before I could figure out what was happening, I felt Ashley's dad's hand strike my face, and blood instantly trickled from the corner of my mouth. You crazy woman! How dare you touch my daughter? David caught Ashley in time, relieved. His face darkened, and he roared at me, you bitch. Ashley was being nice and offering you cake, and you dare to push her? Fine. I see you don't want your part-time job at a bakery anymore. Sweetheart, Are you okay? Should we go to the hospital? Ashley's mom surrounded her with concern, her eyes filled with a tenderness I couldn't understand. I covered my swollen face, hoarsely explaining myself over and over again. But no one cared. Ashley sweetly wrapped her arms around David's neck. Oh, Mr. Miller, I'm okay. I don't think she meant to do it. Just let her go. Before the security guards brutally dragged me out, I subconsciously looked back. My husband, David Miller, was holding her tightly, unwilling to let go. Mom and Dad were overjoyed, constantly telling Ashley to be careful. What a wonderful family. I swallowed the bitterness rising in my throat, covering my belly and muttering to myself, baby. Mom needs to find out what's really going on. 02 I returned to the rundown apartment in a low-income neighborhood, disheveled, close to 10 o'clock. I hid my work uniform under the bed and sat on the bed in a daze. I was only helping out at the bakery as a cashier, but today they were short-staffed, so I volunteered to deliver the cake. Who knew I would witness such a shocking scene? My parents weren't poor at all, and my husband, the ordinary office worker who always worked overtime, had become the respected Mr. Miller. And there was also Ashley, a daughter I had never seen before. Why? Why did they deceive me so deliberately? Just to get a child? Was the family I had lived with for so many years just a bubble? My hands clenched unconsciously, my knuckles white with strain, and tears streamed down my face. Honey, we're home. Look what we brought you. Ashley's dad changed back into his faded shirt, transforming back into the kind and amiable man I remembered. He pulled my hand and sat me down at the kitchen table, smiling as he called to Ashley's mom, "Hey Mom, hurry up and heat up the leftovers. Our daughter must be hungry, and the baby needs to eat too." Ashley's mom heated up the food efficiently, carefully placing it in front of me. "Daughter, our boss treated us to dinner today, and we packed some leftovers for you. Come and try it. It's all things you've never eaten before. Don't wait for David. He's still working overtime at the company. We've already eaten, so you can eat." I forced a smile, looking down at the so-called good things, which were all the scraps Ashley had left behind. Recalling the midnight snacks Mom and Dad used to give me, sometimes half a dessert, sometimes a few crab legs, those must have been leftovers from their dinners with Ashley too, which they hid from me. Looking at my parents' expectant eyes, I felt a dense, prickling pain in my heart. What am I, a dog who can be casually dismissed with some leftovers? I've already eaten. I'm not hungry right now. I found a random excuse and returned to my cramped bedroom. Hey, what's wrong with this child today? Forget it, forget it. Maybe she's just in a bad mood because she's pregnant. Let's just let her be. I was silent for a long time, opening my phone and, with trembling hands, typing my parents' names into the search bar for the first time. Instantly, countless photos and articles appeared before my eyes. The most recent one, just last week, was headlined with the bold words, "Carter family head Sean Carter and his wife, Lily Carter, attend banquet," shattering my last sliver of hope. Since I was a child, Mom and Dad had told me that I had carelessly burned down the house, which was why our family was so poor. I had never doubted them, only focusing on working hard, earning my tuition through part-time jobs and scholarships. Now the truth was right in front of me. My parents weren't working as sanitation workers at all. Our family wasn't poor at all, but the daughter they were raising wasn't me. I leaned against the wall, powerless, the emotions churning inside me threatening to drown me. Perhaps sensing my emotions, my stomach suddenly cramped, and I squatted on the floor, pale, trying to ease the pain. "Jane Smith, what's wrong? Are you okay?" David suddenly came home, looking worried. He gently stroked my belly. "Is the baby all right? I'll take you to the hospital." I shook my head. "No, I'm fine." "What are you doing back?" "You're pregnant, so I'm always thinking about you, even at work." David's eyes were bright and smiling. Before, I would have been secretly touched, but now, the bright red hickey next to his collarbone hit me like a punch in the gut. A faint, sweet perfume filled my nostrils, a scent I was familiar with. It was Ashley's scent. 03 Late at night, David held me as I fell asleep, as usual. But I wasn't sleepy at all, and I secretly opened his phone. The lock screen was a wedding photo of the two of us, and the password was my birthday. Everything was still the same. After searching through all the suspicious WeChat and text messages, I finally found David's other account. I found Ashley under the name Good Wife. After only reading a few days' worth of chat history, I couldn't hold back the tears that streamed down my face, soaking the pillow. David was with Ashley, using work as an excuse. While I was enduring the pain of taking medication and undergoing IVF, he was taking her shopping for bags. To save money, I had never traveled, but David took Ashley to Aspen, Colorado to ski during the day and to Las Vegas to watch fireworks at night, all in one day. He cherished Ashley, completely forgetting that I was his wife. But this marriage was just a scheme to get a child. I cried until I had no tears left, and scheduled an amniocentesis for the next day. Even now, I still held on to a sliver of hope. My parents were fake, my lover was fake, but the flesh and blood thumping in my belly, I didn't want to believe it. The next day, after the test, I looked at the report the doctor handed me over and over again, my body turning cold. When I saw the 0% possibility on the report, my fingertips dug into my palms, but the pain of the bleeding was nothing compared to the suffocating feeling tearing through my chest. The child wasn't mine. A bitter smile escaped my lips. Doctor, I want to have the fastest abortion possible. But, you're so far along now. There are risks. Think carefully. I shook my head, parting my lips slightly. I know. I accept. While waiting for the surgery, I stared blankly at the ceiling. After graduating from college, my parents introduced me to David as a blind date. I wanted to politely decline, but when I saw his handsome face with his cool yet gentle demeanor, I fell in love as if I were bewitched. The world went silent, and only one thought ran through my mind: he's the one. Because of him, I gave up the opportunity to study abroad and chose to stay with my parents and him. When he said he was infertile, I quit my job and got injections, took medicine, and underwent IVF at the hospital. I thought that once the child was born, everything would get better. Mom, Dad, I'm okay. I just twisted my ankle. Ashley's voice interrupted my thoughts. I looked up and met my parents' eyes. A trace of embarrassment flashed across their faces, and they immediately let go of Ashley's hand. Mom, Dad, weren't you going to work? Who is she? Why is she calling you Mom, Dad too? Ashley's dad stammered, unable to speak. Ashley's mom smoothed things over. This is a colleague's child. Her mother asked us to look after her. Don't misunderstand, daughter. I chuckled softly. Is that so? I wouldn't know you weren't a family. David, who came out of the bathroom, frowned when he heard these words. Jane Smith, how can you talk to Mom, Dad like that? Why are you becoming so strange? Don't you trust Mom, Dad anymore? I just thought Mom, Dad were working hard, so I came with them. Don't make a fuss out of nothing. Mom, Dad, Ashley, let's go. Ashley rolled her eyes and gave me a provocative smile, mouthing a few words. I recognized them. She said, bastard. As I was being wheeled into the operating room, David was giving Ashley a full-body checkup. He subconsciously glanced in my direction, then felt relieved. Gone? She probably went home after her prenatal checkup. After everything was over, cold sweat soaked my hair. I touched my flat stomach, my heart aching. Before I left, I asked the nurse for the palm-sized embryo. Since it wasn't mine, I'd give it back to them. 04 I dragged my tired body back to the house. Looking around, it was simple but cozy, filled with traces of my life. After hesitating for a moment, I called a lawyer. Please draft a divorce agreement for me. And a severance of parental ties agreement. The lawyer was fast, drafting 2 agreements according to my wishes and sending them to my email. After everything was ready, I followed the information I found and went to David's real company address. Hello, you can't come in without an appointment. The receptionist politely stopped me. I paused for a moment, calmly giving a name. Ashley Carter. She sent me. The receptionist's attitude changed instantly. nodding knowingly and warmly showing me the way. I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Everyone knew how special Ashley was. Only I had been kept in the dark. Just as I reached David's office door, an unusual sound made me stop. Through the crack in the door, I saw Ashley, half undressed, sitting on David's lap, the two of them passionately kissing. The sound of their intimate embrace reached my ears, like a bolt from the blue. "Do you like me that much? Is it because Jane Smith is pregnant and can't satisfy you, so you're so impatient?" he panted, his eyes red-rimmed. "She's nothing. When I'm with her, I'm only thinking of you." My heart felt like it was being ruthlessly trampled on the ground, and I bit my lip to keep from making a sound, silently leaving. "Professor, is the spot you mentioned for graduate studies abroad still available? I've taken care of the family issues. I want to go." After hanging up the professor's phone, I sent a message in the WeChat group chat, attaching a restaurant address. "Mom, Dad, husband, I'm treating everyone to dinner at 8 o'clock tonight. I have something to announce." I wrapped myself tightly in my clothes, hugging that small bottle, sitting alone in the second-floor private room. 20 years of family, 5 years of love. Even if it was a scam, I hoped we could part ways peacefully. At 7:30, they didn't come, but Ashley did. She sneered. "So you know everything now. Don't you want to know why you, a bastard, were allowed to stay in the Carter family?" I lowered my eyes, not responding to her. Ashley smiled maliciously, her eyes widening with excitement. "Back then, your mom was just a lowly nanny who tried to sneak her child into a wealthy family. Do you know how much I suffered in those years I was away? Don't even think about finding your real mother. That nanny is already dead. Serves her right. Do you think David really has feelings for you? He's my fiancé. If it wasn't for your belly being useful, he wouldn't even look at someone like you from the bottom of society. I want you to experience the suffering I went through. Mom, Dad love me, so they acted in this play with you for 20 years. How is it? You got to where you are today through your own hard work, but you should really be thanking me." I looked up in a daze, almost unable to breathe. "When I was a child, because we were poor, I cut my long hair to save on shampoo, living like a boy, dull and unremarkable, throughout my youth. Because we were poor, IW. As especially sensitive, swallowing all the subtle taunts and bullying I endured. The countless awards and certificates at home had all become a path of bitterness and pain beneath my feet. From beginning to end, I only had one thought: study, earn money, and make my parents' lives better. But in the end, all of this was just my parents deliberately manipulating my life to please Ashley. Even David, the man who swore to be good to me forever, had never loved me even a little. A deep weariness suddenly washed over me. I stood up slowly, my face numb like a dead person. "I never wanted to compete with you for anything. I'm giving everything back to you." 05 I took out the 2 agreements I had prepared and placed them on the table. But who knew that Ashley, after picking up the papers and reading them, would tear them to shreds in a fit of rage. "What are you pretending to be pitiful for? Huh? Are you still delusional about using this ridiculous agreement to force my mom, dad, my husband, to pity you? To get more attention from them? Heh, you're still not giving up, are you? Then open your eyes and take a good look at who the real mistress of this family is." Ashley, who had been ferocious just a second ago, suddenly calmed down. Before I could react to what she was going to do, I heard someone outside the private room scream in terror. "Fire! Fire!" My heart jumped. I tried to open the private room door and leave, but Ashley grabbed me tightly. Her manicured nails scratched several red marks on my hand. Ignoring the pain, I forcefully pushed Ashley away, but she fell to the ground, wailing in pain. "It hurts so much. My head is bleeding." Seeing the smoke gradually filling the room, I paused slightly, subconsciously checking her injury. Where are you hurt? Can you walk?" Even though she had repeatedly insulted me with malice, I wouldn't not save a living person in front of me. Any other grudges could be settled after we got out. The door was suddenly kicked open, and David and my parents' anxious voices came one after another, in unison. "Ashley!" Ashley's mom and dad only had eyes for Ashley, who was on the ground, pushing me aside, anxiously checking her injuries from head to toe. Ashley, with tears in her eyes, said, "Dad and Mom, Jane Smith started the fire. She knows she's not a Carter family member. She resents me and said she was going to burn me alive." David's face was ashen. Before I could speak, he slapped me. "Jane Smith, how did I not realize you were such a vicious person? Even if Mom-Dad didn't give you a life of luxury, they at least raised you for so many years, without you lacking food and clothing. But your first thought is to repay kindness with hatred, trying to kill Mom-Dad's biological daughter." His eyes were full of disgust, as if I were a heinous criminal. Ashley's mom looked furious. "Jane Smith, you're not our Carter family member at all. If Ashley hadn't said you had no living relatives and didn't want you to be homeless, we wouldn't have given you a home to shelter you from the wind and rain. How can you not know how to be grateful? It was wrong of us to hide it from you, but you fed all those years of nurturing to the dogs, didn't you? Heh, you're a bastard after all, you can never amount to anything." Ashley's dad picked up Ashley, not even looking at me. "What's the point of talking to her? If anything happens to Ashley, I'll never forgive her. Doesn't she want to burn Ashley to death? Okay, close the door. Let her suffer the consequences, her life is in her own hands." The fire grew bigger and bigger. David placed the wet towel he brought with him on Ashley's face. Before leaving, he suddenly turned back to look at me. He felt a little unbearable. "Jane Smith, Ashley's dad is just saying things out of anger. As long as you apologize to Ashley, he won't let you die." I smiled softly, looking stubbornly at David. "No, I'm not wrong. Ashley is." David frowned. "What are you being? Gee, so stubborn for at a time like this? You're pregnant, how could Mom, Dad and I not care about you?" I was speechless, looking down at my empty belly. Even though I was wearing thermal underwear to keep warm, anyone who paid attention would realize that I didn't have a child in my belly at all. But they couldn't see it. He wanted to say more, but the choking smoke made him cough uncontrollably. In the end, Ashley's mom pulled him away, leaving only a resolute back. I was completely abandoned. Before losing consciousness from inhaling too much smoke, I let go of the glass bottle I had been protecting all along. From beginning to end, I wasn't worth it. 06 When I opened my eyes again, a white, reflective ceiling came into view. The smell of disinfectant filled my nostrils. "You're awake. Is anything else bothering you?" The nurse's words woke my chaotic thoughts. So I wasn't dead. At the moment of near death, a firefighter had rescued me. I tried to get up by myself, looking at the date. It was already the date I had promised my professor. In college, I hadn't missed a single scholarship and was appreciated by my professor, who wanted to send me abroad for graduate studies. But I had refused, reluctantly, out of consideration for my family. Now, there were no obstacles anymore. Jane Smith was dead. I thanked the nurse who kept telling me to rest, and checked out of the hospital. Passing by a VIP ward, familiar voices made me stop. "Ashley, you scared me to death. I'll only be relieved after you get another full-body checkup." "Don't worry, Mom-Dad have already decided. They're going to sever ties with Jane Smith when we get back, kick her out of the household registry. I won't let her hurt you again." Sean Carter held Ashley's hand, his eyes red, his voice resounding with certainty. Lily Carter lovingly wiped the sweat from Ashley's face, nodding repeatedly. "That's right, what your dad said is right. Don't be soft-hearted towards her anymore. I finally see it clearly. Jane Smith is just an ingrate. Even if we deceived her, she can't set you on fire." David was silent for a long time, suddenly saying, "Ashley, did Jane Smith really start the fire? She's usually so gentle. I don't think she would do something like that." Their faces changed. "David, what are you saying? Are you saying that Ashley is deliberately framing her? Ashley hasn't even met her a few times. What hatred could there be?" A flash of resentment crossed Ashley's eyes, then she put on a pitiful look. "David, I have no grievances with her, and I have a life of luxury. Why would I give up my good life to get involved with a pitiful person like her? And you promised that you would divorce her as soon as the child was born. What else could I want? Hearing the words pitiful person, David felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Even though I lived a miserable life, I never gave up on pursuing my dreams. Jane Smith wasn't pitiful. Sean Carter suddenly looked sharp. David, you don't have real feelings for Jane Smith, do you? We agreed that you would marry Jane Smith only to get the child. Our two families' marriage alliance can't be ruined by a bastard. Through the crack in the glass door, I looked at David's angular face, and a ridiculous hope suddenly surged in my heart. For 5 years, day and night, I didn't believe he didn't have any feelings for me. David was speechless, rebutted by Sean Carter's sudden question, instinctively denying it. How is that possible? How could I fall in love with her? She's just a bastard who hasn't seen the world. Lily Carter breathed a sigh of relief. I knew it. Our Carter family and the Miller family have been friends for generations. I won't misjudge David. He will definitely give Ashley happiness in the future. After you go back, coax Jane Smith, and let her give birth to the child. At worst, give her some money and let her get lost. I suddenly laughed mockingly at myself, laughing at my ridiculous thoughts. Then, I didn't stop, going straight to the airport. Professor, I'm ready to board the plane. Thank you for your guidance. I won't let you down. 07 For 3 consecutive days, David took care of Ashley at the hospital. He had nothing to do, repeatedly watching the accident interviews from 3 days ago. Although the report showed that the fire was put out in time and there were no casualties, I hadn't sent him any messages in those days. That Jane Smith, her temper is getting worse and worse. Can't she even let me know she's safe? David Miller couldn't hold back and sent me a message first. The bright red exclamation point made him jump up, a sudden feeling of dread in his heart. What could it be? Was she angry? He rubbed his furrowed brow and couldn't help but sigh. Jane's temper was just too stubborn. Oh well, he would just have to coax her. But whether it was her phone or her social media accounts, without exception, he had been blocked. David finally realized that something was wrong. He grabbed his coat and was about to rush out when Ashley Carter, awakened by his movements, pouted in dissatisfaction. David, where are you going? David just wanted to get home quickly and blurted out without thinking, Jane is missing. I'm going home to find her. Ashley's face darkened, and she bit her lip. Jane Smith was the one who committed arson and hurt people. I haven't even settled the score with her, and now she's playing disappearing act. And she's pregnant. I think she's just trying to get your attention on purpose. David, I won't let you go. David paused, a hint of hesitation flashing across his face. Seeing this, Ashley triumphantly raised her eyebrows and continued to add fuel to the fire. Anyway, her mom-dad don't care about her anymore. Where can a bastard like her go? Won't she just have to obediently return to your side with the child? David, you're my husband, but you spend more time with her than with me to get a child. Spend time with me. David pursed his lips. Under Ashley's expectant gaze, he shook his head for the first time. Ashley, she is my legal wife. It's only right that I go find her. After saying that, he strode out of the hospital room, leaving behind a frustrated Ashley pounding on the bed in a fit of anger. Ashley's face was full of resentment, and she muttered to herself through gritted teeth. Jane Smith, you're so cunning. You actually dare to steal my husband. Just you wait. Returning to the rundown apartment in a low-income neighborhood, David Miller searched the entire place but couldn't find a trace of me. Everything was the same as before, nothing added, nothing taken away. The unease in his heart grew, and he stared blankly at the simple but cozy bed. At first, he didn't want to participate in this conspiracy about a certain woman, but as soon as he saw Jane Smith's eyes, he was captivated. Such vibrant vitality, like an inconspicuous weed, always tenacious. Sleeping on this slightly ordinary bed was 100 times more reassuring than in his cold villa. Every time he finished his part-time job at a bakery, there would be warm, home-cooked leftovers waiting for him, along with a glass of milk to relieve his hangover. The memories of the past 5 years kept flooding David Miller's mind. He rubbed his forehead and smiled bitterly. It seemed like he had taken things seriously. He had really fallen in love with Jane Smith. Assistant, immediately help me find out where Jane Smith has gone. After hanging up the phone, David leaned weakly against the door, without turning on the light. His figure blended into the darkness, and a tear suddenly fell from his lowered eyes. 08 With the help of my mentor, I successfully integrated into the research team with my fluent English and excellent skills. Spending all day in the laboratory, time became real and slow. On weekends, I occasionally traveled to nearby countries. Walking alone on unfamiliar streets, my heart was incredibly relaxed. ND free. I went to the snowy villages of Northern Europe and saw exquisite and beautiful colorful houses. Strolling along the snowy trails in the woods, the warm yellow lights illuminated my heart. I saw the most beautiful polar scenery in my life along the snow-capped mountains and lakes. The next day, I carved my mom, dad's, and David Miller's names in the snow, watching it gradually disappear as it was submerged by new snow. The winter snow was like the confusion in my heart, once accumulated, then gradually melted. I also showed a long-lost happy smile. Without them, I could still start my life anew. On the other side, David Miller was going crazy trying to find me. He had been holed up in Miller Corporation headquarters in downtown Manhattan recently, trying to numb himself with part-time job at a bakery. A sudden ringtone broke the silence of the night. Mr. Miller, we found her. Miss Smith took an international flight abroad. I've already booked a ticket for you, but... David Miller revealed a hint of joy. We'll talk about the rest later. I'm leaving now. The assistant hesitated. Mr. Miller, I think it's still necessary to ask you about this. Ashley Carter approached me and said you were going to divide your shares to her. She wanted me to draft an agreement, but I didn't agree. Are you aware of this, Mr. Miller? David Miller's originally burning mood gradually cooled down. When did this happen? I never said any of that. A few days ago, she said the shares were the betrothal gift for marrying her. Okay, I understand. He darkened his face, feeling that something was wrong, and then called Ashley's dad. Dad, has Ashley been asking you for company shares recently? Shares? She did ask a few days ago, but Ashley's not experienced enough. I was planning to let her get some experience first. She threw a tantrum at me for a long time. Ashley's dad chuckled. Why is she in such a hurry? Ashley is the only precious heir to the Carter family. Really, that child is too insecure. After hanging up the phone, David Miller fell into deep thought. Yes, what was Ashley so anxious about? She, a pampered Carter family princess, why was she targeting Jane Smith, who had nothing to do with her? The only entanglement between them was the switch at birth scandal from back then. Unless she wasn't the real heiress at all. A chill ran down David Miller's spine, and cold sweat slowly seeped out. Some things he had to verify himself. 09 At the Carter family mansion in Beverly Hills. Ashley Carter was clinging to her dad, acting spoiled. Dad, I'm already in my 20s. I want to go to work in the company and help you out. Just let me, okay? Ashley's dad was a little helpless, reaching out to playfully pinch her nose. It's settled then, you have to start from the bottom in the company. I don't know if my precious daughter has the ability to do that. No way, I'm going to take over for you sooner or later anyway. Why learn so many useless skills? Can't I just become a manager right away? Ashley's mom gently interrupted her. Ashley, the Carter family tradition is that those who are capable work harder. Every company executive has climbed up from the bottom step by step. No special treatment allowed. Ashley's face darkened. Mom, Dad, you're not still thinking about that bastard Jane Smith, are you? I heard you wanted to let her into the company before. Ashley's dad flashed a hint of embarrassment. No, sweet daughter. Jane was a good kid before, and capable too, but after the arson incident last time, Mom, Dad won't trust her anymore. Look, her name isn't even on the family register anymore. Ashley Carter took the family register he handed over, unable to help but secretly rejoice. Jane Smith, see how you're going to compete with me now. Now that the biggest obstacle was gone, the Carter and Miller families were all hers for the taking. Mom, Dad, just give me the shares. I don't have any children, and I'm afraid you'll dislike me for being infertile and bringing shame to the Carter family. Before Ashley Carter could continue her begging, the door suddenly opened. David Miller, exuding coldness, walked in. David, you're here. Look at Ashley, she's making a fuss about wanting shares. She's such a child. I'll only feel comfortable handing over the shares to Ashley after you two are officially married. I'm relieved to have you helping her manage things. David Miller's hands clenched tightly, his knuckles turning white. His voice was hoarse, and the words he spoke were so light, yet they exploded like a bolt from the blue. Dad, Mom, Ashley Carter isn't your biological daughter. She's the fake. Ashley Carter's eyes widened on the spot, and she screamed sharply, "What nonsense are you talking about? Did Jane Smith tell you to slander me?" Mom, Dad, he must have been brainwashed. David Miller didn't want to say another word of nonsense and handed the newly tested report to Ashley's mom, Dad. This is a parentage test I did using Mom's hair from home and hair that Ashley left at my house. You'll know the truth as soon as you look at it. I finally understand why Ashley was so cruel to Jane, and why she was so eager to have the shares. She's the nanny's daughter. And it was also her who colluded with her own mother to forge a confession and test results in order to live a life in a wealthy family, and then killed her own mother after it was done. Ashley's dad looked at it in disbelief, his hands trembling as he held the test report. Are you saying that Jane, who we removed from the family register, is our biological daughter? Ashley's mom's eyes rolled back and she fainted completely. Ashley Carter completely collapsed, tearing the paper to shreds like a mad woman. Dad, don't you believe me? I'm the Carter family's daughter. Jane Smith is a bastard. Don't believe him. David Miller couldn't bear it any longer and slapped her, the force of which instantly caused blood to seep from the corner of her mouth. Dad, if you don't believe me, then take a look at this video. David Miller opened the surveillance video that his assistant had found, saved before the restaurant fire. Seeing how vicious the daughter he had doted on for so many years was behind his back, Ashley's dad couldn't bear it any longer, pointing at Ashley Carter and spitting blood in anger. You, just you wait. I'm going to find my daughter now. If anything happens to her, I'll make you pay with your life. 10 While I was walking with my classmates after lunch, someone shouted, "There's a handsome guy. Hey, he seems to be coming this way." I lazily raised my eyes, and my steps suddenly stopped. Jane, I finally found you. Come home with me, okay? Mom, Dad miss you so much. David Miller, who had run over, was a little out of breath, and even the hair on his forehead was a little disheveled. Facing my classmates' gossipy eyes, I lowered my head. You guys go back first. After there was no one around, Ashley's mom, Dad came late, but they hesitated to approach. I nodded coldly. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. The unfamiliar and distant greeting instantly aged Ashley's dad's face, and Ashley's mom's eyes were filled with tears. Jane, we were wrong, we were really wrong. We were deceived by Ashley for so many years, which made you suffer for so long. You're our biological daughter. Mom, Dad know they were wrong. Mom, Dad promised to compensate you 100 times over, okay? Come back with us, you're still pregnant. As soon as she finished speaking, Ashley's mom's face immediately changed. Where's the child? David Miller's breath hitched, and he looked up and down nervously. Jane, when did you lose the child? Were you hurt? Are you feeling unwell? Ashley's dad forced a smile. It's good that the child is gone, it's good. After all, that child. Perhaps he also felt it wasn't honorable. Ashley's dad didn't continue speaking and silently lowered his head. I shook off David Miller's hand and looked him in the eye. The child has been gone for a long time. It wasn't mine anyway, was it? Seeing that he didn't dare to look me directly in the eye, I turned my head to face Ashley's mom, Dad. Thank you for telling me the truth, but I don't care anymore. My name is no longer on the Carter family's register, and you are no longer my mom-dad. I don't need your ridiculous pity for a child who was abandoned and grew up like a weed. I have my own life now." Ashley's dad panicked, hurriedly taking out something from his bag. "Daughter, here's the key to a luxury SUV. If you don't like it, there are ordinary cars too. And, this card is for your living expenses, and this card is for you to take vacations. You can do whatever you want. It's all what we owe you. Daughter, we were wrong first, but the past 20 years of getting along were real. I don't believe you're so cold-blooded. David is also your fiancé." I was unmoved, with no emotion in my heart, and even a hint of disgust. "I never hated you for being poor, and I didn't care at all when I found out you were rich. What really broke my heart was that in order to please Ashley Carter, you played my whole life around, and even the love and child I was so proud of were built on a bubble of lies. The bubble burst, I woke up, and I became clear-headed. You're coming to beg me now because you know I'm your biological daughter. But what if I wasn't? What if I really was a nanny's daughter? You would still follow a ridiculous order and ruin my life." With every word I said, Ashley's mom-dad's faces paled, and in the end, Ashley's mom burst into tears and couldn't speak. After dealing with things here, I gave David Miller a faint look, giving him the final judgment. "You're no better. Even if you have some lingering affection for me, I will never forget the heinous act of you sleeping with Ashley Carter behind my back and using her eggs to conceive life inside my Odie. You don't deserve my forgiveness. None of you do." After that, I never looked back. Some time later, David Miller had someone tell me that he had kicked Ashley Carter out of the Carter family and reopened the investigation into the accidental death of the nanny back then, sending her to prison. After successfully divorcing David Miller, he quietly transferred a large portion of his assets to my name. Ashley's mom-dad still didn't give up praying for my forgiveness, and from time to time sent various things. I donated them all. In the first half of my life, I didn't rely on my mom-dad. I grew into a towering tree with strength and resilience. In the second half of my life, I can still live a wonderful life without them.